In this installment, we're going to be going over the NBA bet slate for Sunday, March 10th. Let's get into it. The weekend is coming to an end. This will be our Sunday NBA bets March 10th slate breakdown. But before I deep dive into that, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and Twitter at MetsNetsJetsD. Don't forget about that TikTok at Chef_D91. And don't forget about that Patreon. Right now, we're currently at the homepage of the YouTube channel. We're at 1.7 thousand subscribers. The response is coming back alarmingly, especially on the weekend. I understand you guys that are working during the week get an opportunity to catch this video. More views are being seen, more eyes. Hopefully, it's getting out to other groups of people as well. And the numbers are jumping up, and you guys are responding with comments and with subscriptions. So keep that up. I appreciate you guys so much. And on the Patreon side for the Saturday slate, we had a mixed bag here. So far, Bulls did not come through. They dominated that whole entire game, but they wound up losing by 10 instead of 8. Nets got embarrassed, but we came back strong with the Mavericks. Outright win. I told you guys to have that full game plus the over in that one. Suns right now are very close in the matchup against the Boston Celtics right now. The Spurs are blowing out the Warriors, so that's going to come through. The Nuggets, I told you to take the same thing with the Mavericks. First quarter, full game. And I told you to take the under. That's looking good right now. We're waiting on news about the Raptors. Duke lost, and then Houston won outright. They blew out their opponent. So mixed bag here, still over 50%. But guys, winning bets are here. Get connected right now. If you want my final decisions on what I'm choosing on the night, it's going to be in the Patreon. We got UFC that's going on right now. That's smashing right now. Get connected. There's so much. You guys need to get ready for March Madness and the NBA playoffs and the NFL draft. I'm going to have all that in here. Go to that link provided down below. First game we got for Sunday. We have a 3 o'clock tip-off here. Milwaukee Bucks 41-23 going against the LA Clippers, who are 41-21. Looking at the current odds right now, you can get the Bucks on minus 155 on the money line. You can go with the Clippers, who are plus 125 on that money line, with the point spread at 3.5 on both sides. The total points is at a 228.5. Okay, looking at the bet, public bet percentage, 65% of the bets on Milwaukee to win, 99% of the money on Milwaukee to win this game. Point spread, 51% of the bets on Clippers to cover the 3.5, and 62% of the money is on the Milwaukee Bucks to cover that 3.5. We do not have any data on the total points that just went out live right now, so it could be dropping. It depends. Clippers are on the second game of a back-to-back, so they might be missing some of their guys. All right, Harden, Leonard, and Paul George were questionable earlier on Saturday. They wind up playing in this game, and now we're not sure yet. All right, so now it came back up. So we got 74% of the bets on the over and 69% of the money on the over. All right, so definitely monitor the injury news, because this team and the Clippers, who are an older team, are in the second game of a back-to-back. They played already earlier, about a couple days ago, March 4th. All right, it was 106-113, a comfortable Milwaukee win by 7 points. Now you get Clippers trying to get revenge in this particular matchup here. If we're looking at these two teams, Clippers just beat the Chicago Bulls, and a lot of these games with the back-to-back, it's been going opposite lately. And you had Milwaukee Bucks on a 2-game losing streak, and they lost to the Lakers without LeBron James. They had D'Angelo Russell go completely off with 44 points. So you have a team here, and the Bucks are going to be motivated. They need a win on this road trip here. So we're going to be going with the money line to keep it safe here. Just take the money line of the Milwaukee Bucks at minus 155. That's point spread. If you're feeling confident, you can go towards that. Let me see some against the spread numbers here. Milwaukee Bucks on the road right now, they're 13-18 away, and as favorites, they're 24-30. All right. Compared to the Clippers at home, they are 15-14 against the spread. And as underdogs, they're 4-8. All right. So that's a telling sign here. When the Clippers are underdogs, they tend to lose more than they win. We're going to go with my bet is going to be the Bucks money line. And if we're looking at that over under a 228.5, that first game went to 219 points. I would lean towards the under, but the favorite play is Bucks money line. Next up, we have New Orleans Pelicans, who are currently 38-25, going up against the Atlanta Hawks, who are 29-34. Looking at the current odds here, you can get the Pelicans at a minus 250, with the Hawks on a comeback at a plus 200 on the money line. The point spread is at a 6.5 on both sides, and you have the total at 223.5. Okay. Looking at the public bet percentage, percentage of bets, 81% on the money line for the Pelicans, 84% of the money on the money line for the Pelicans. The point spread is on 65% of the bets with the Hawks to cover, and 61% of the money on the Hawks to cover. And both sides, 74% and 77% on the Hawks and the Pelicans to go over 223.5 points here. Looking at the injury report, Pelicans are pretty healthy. There is an issue with the Atlanta Hawks. DeJounte Murray will play. The question is Jalen Johnson. I just looked it up right now. Jalen Johnson will not play on Sunday against the Pelicans because of a right ankle sprain. That's going to give more playing time to DeAndre Hunter. He's going to be hopping into that starting lineup there. And then obviously Trae Young is out for the rest of the season. So they had a previous matchup last year, November 4th. That game was a blowout win by Atlanta in New Orleans. So that was very significant right there. That total was 228 points. And that's why this total is pretty close here at 223.5. You're going to miss a key contributor in Jalen Johnson. Trying to figure out that. So I might want to fade the public there. I might want to lean towards that under, but my favorite play on the board is just taking the money line. That's still a solid number. Taking the money line of the Pelicans. I do see them winning this game here, and that point spread is pretty solid as well. I might be tempted to have that full cover of the 6.5. My favorite play is going to be the Pelicans money line. If we're looking at against the spread numbers, Hawks are 11-21 at home against the spread, and they're 9-18 as dogs. So both of those numbers bode well for the Pelicans to cover this number and win the game. That's what we're going to be going with. Next up, we have a Southeast Division matchup here. Washington Wizards, who are 10-53, finally getting a win after a very long losing streak, going against the Miami Heat, 35-28. Looking at the odds right now, you can get the Heat at a minus 450 on the money line, with the Washington Wizards at a plus 340 on the money line. The point spread right now is at a 9.5, and the total points is at a 229.5 as well. All right, looking at the public bet percentage, 97% of the money 97% of the bets on Miami, 100% of the money on Miami. It's not a, that's crazy. Point spread, 69% of the bets on Washington to cover this number, 71% of the money on Washington to cover that number as well. With it's kind of split down the middle there. We're on a total of over under 229.5. That's a pretty solid line looking at their previous matchups, but I'll show you that very soon. 56% of the bets, 54% of the money towards the over. Okay, for the injury report right now, Marvin Bagley, the main factor here in the Washington Wizards outs, is going to be out for a week or so. He's going to be reevaluated. And on the Miami Heat side, Kevin Love, Tyler Hero are going to be out as well. All right. Going down to their previous matchups, they've already faced each other twice this year. Both losses on the Washington side. First game was 235 points, and the second game in Washington was 212 points, and we got the total at 229.5. With that game in Miami going towards that over. All right, so I expect both of these teams to put up some points here, especially if Jordan Poole gets cooking on that Washington side of the ball. But I would lean towards the over 229.5. I would agree with that. The cover is going to be the question. I think Miami's coming off a 2-game losing streak. I think they get this win coming back home. The question is that 9.5. I would lean lean. That's not my favorite play. I would lean towards the Wizards, but it's an ugly play. Taking that 9.5 points. If you want to bump it up a few there, maybe to that 15-point range, you can. If not, just take the Heat money line. Heat are going to win this game, and I would lean towards the over 229.5. All right. Next up, we have the Indianapolis Pacers, who are 35-29, going against the Orlando Magic, who are 37-27 here. Looking at the odds here, minus 120 for the Orlando Magic, plus 100 on the Indianapolis Pacers here, with the point spread at 1.5 on both sides. This is pretty much a pick'em spot here, and the total is at a 226.5. Okay, very sharp total. Letting you guys know that right now. For the public bet percentage, 66% of the bets on Orlando to win, 68% of the money on Orlando to win. With the point spread, 63% coming in on the Pacers to cover 1.5, 57% of the money on Pacers to cover that 1.5, and the over is 64% and 64% towards the over of 226.5 points. Okay, for the injury report, Ben Mathurin is going to be out for a while. I think he's going to be out for the whole season. Yeah, it's with the shoulder issue. I could show you right now. But Ben Mathurin, I think they already said that he's going to be out for the rest of the year. Let's see. He's going to come up. Ben Mathurin. Come on, pop up. You don't want to show his name, huh? They got his own name. They must have to have his own name. Yeah, no, Benedict. Thank you. That was Benjamin. All right, so Ben, yeah, he's done for the season. Benedict Mathurin is going to be done for the year. That's confirmation for you guys right there. Yeah, torn labrum. Sad. He had a really good season this year. Had a phenomenal All-Star weekend as well. But he's going to be out. On the Orlando Magic side, you have Jalen Suggs and Markelle Fultz are going to be questionable. So they might be out 2 of their guards. Definitely stay tuned to news there. In the first 2 matchups already, Magic have won in both of those games. And now this is the third and final matchup with the Pacers on the road in this in particular matchup. First game went 244 points, and the second game went 227. So this is a revenge factor here. And then the Pacers lost twice to Orlando at home. They get an opportunity to get a little redemption. That's what we're going to go with, all right? Give me the Pacers at plus 100 here to get a win against the Orlando Mavericks. If you feel comfortable taking the spread, that 1.5, take the point, all right? Just give me I'd rather just take the money line, take the win. With the total at 226.5, and the 2 previous games being at 244 and 227, very small lean towards the over, okay? Because I know Pacers, they don't play much defense, and Magic can really put up some points. So I would lean towards the over. But the top play here is Pacers money line, all right? Next matchup, we have the Houston Rockets 28-35 going to be against the Sacramento Kings, who are 36-26. Looking at the odds right now, you have the Rockets on the money line of plus 200. And on the other side, the Kings are at a minus 250. Point spread is at a 6.5 on both sides, with the over under at 233.5. Okay. Looking at the public bet percentage, 92% of the bets on Kings, 97% of the money on the Kings. For the point spread, 52% of the bets on the Rockets to cover the spread, and 53% of the money is on the Kings to cover that spread, with the total over under 59% of the bets towards the over, 66% of the money towards the over 233.5. Injury report on both sides are pretty much clean, and these 2 teams have faced 2 times already, and the Houston Rockets have won both of those times in Houston. All right, the first game there was 196 points, and in the second game was 219 points. And as you can see, this over right now is at 233.5. All right, so we have a team, and the Rockets are very strong at home. They play poorly on the road. If you just look at their record, very horrible road record there. Kings, a much better home team anyway. Revenge factor is on the line here. Love the money line of the Kings minus 250. If we're looking at against the spread numbers, the Sacramento Kings are not that great with covering numbers. 18-23 as favorites. And 11-17 at home as well. covering the spread. So that's not good. But the Rockets aren't good as well on the road. They're 11-18 away on the road against the spread. And as dogs, they're 20-21. So I think that there's going to be a complete sweep here. Give me the Kings minus 250. Give me Kings to cover the 6.5. And give me the over 233.5. All right. Next game we got going on, Atlantic Division going up against Central Division here. Brooklyn Nets 25-39 going up against the Cleveland Cavaliers 41-22. Brooklyn Nets, if you want the money line, plus 260 with the Cleveland Cavaliers at a minus 350 there. Point spread is at a 7.5 on both sides with the total at 208.5. Looking at the public bet percentage, 93% of the bets on Cleveland, 99% of the money on Cleveland. For the point spread, 67% of the bets on Cleveland to cover, 70% of the money on Cleveland to cover, and for the points, 84% of the bets on the over 208, 83% of the money on the over 208.5. For the injury report, Lonnie Walker is going to be, what did I say? He's questionable. Cam Johnson is out. All right, so we're waiting on news for Lonnie Walker. He's a big key piece off the bench. He's their sixth man right now. He had an illness. He missed the game on Saturday. There's no news yet on Sunday. Wait on news about Lonnie Walker. For the Cleveland Cavaliers, Evan Mobley's out and Max Strus is out. Okay, so they're missing their two guys. And obviously, Donovan Mitchell is out as well. Let me double check that thing, because I know he missed that last game against the Timberwolves. Donovan Mitchell's going to be out for a minute. But I forgot what the injury was. Let me see. Donovan Mitchell's injury, I think it's probably like another week or so. For Donovan Mitchell, his injury, he's going to be out a couple more games. All right, out 3 more games. So they're going to be missing their star there. Going to their previous matchups, they already faced 3 times so far this season. This is the 4th and final matchup, with the Cavaliers winning each and every single game. So you got a revenge factor here. You have the Nets on a 2-game losing streak, an embarrassing loss to Charlotte and an embarrassing loss to Detroit. Cleveland beat Minnesota late in that game, went into overtime. And this is the second game of a back-to-back for the Brooklyn Nets. What I'm going to be going with here, I've noticed something with back-to-back games right now in the second half of the season. It's been going opposite every time. If one team wins the next one game, they're going to either lose or not cover the next. So it's been flip-flopping each and every time. Just pay attention. All right, so we're going to rock with, and especially we got a revenge narrative here, redemption, hopefully. We got the Brooklyn Nets. All right, it's the 4th matchup. I say they're going to play tough in this 4th and final matchup against this team here in the Cleveland Cavaliers. Give me the plus 7.5 here. If you want to sprinkle on the money line, you can. I know it's going to be ugly. It's going to feel horrible. This is a team that just lost to the Hornets and the Pistons. Why would I take the money line? You know why? Because it's just going to happen, all right? I'm telling you right now. So plus 7.5, that's going to be the definite. If you want to sprinkle, you got the guts to take the money line, then you can throw it in a wild parlay, throw like a couple dollars on that. It's going to be a big multiplier. I understand that as well. But the safe bet here, give me the 7.5 with a hamper team of the Cleveland Cavaliers. No Donovan Mitchell, no Max Strus, no Evan Mobley. And then I would lean towards the over 208.5. Like I said before, these teams have faced each other 3 times already, with the total being at 227, 213, and 213. So give me the over 208, but the top play is Nets plus 7.5. Atlantic Division matchup here. Philadelphia 76ers 35-28 going up against the New York Knicks, who are 37-26. Looking at the odds here, you have the Knicks at a minus 250 on the money line. 76ers, you can get them at a plus 190, with the point spread being a 5.5 on both sides. Total here is at a 211.5. All right. Looking at the public bet percentage, 92% of the bets on New York, 93% of the money on New York. For the spread, 72% of the bets on New York to cover, 83% of the money on New York to cover. On the total, 80% of the bets on the over 211.5 and 74% of the money on the over 211.5. For the injury report here, 76ers still with major injuries. Tyrese Maxey's still going to be out. Joel Embiid's going to be out for a longer period of time. And DeAnthony Melton is going to be reevaluated in 2 weeks. Okay. For the Knicks, they're still missing key guys. OG Anunoby out. Julius Randle out. Mitchell Robinson out. So two decimated teams here, but the Knicks do have their main guy in Jalen Brunson, okay? Looking at the matchups here between the Knicks and the 76ers, both of those games in Philadelphia were losses. Knicks won both of those games with the total being 220 and 206. These two teams face each other two more times, and those games will be both in New York, all right? So my favorite play here is going to be with the 76ers, who have been struggling. Yes, I understand. But I think this is a perfect match here, how teams are currently constructed. We have 76ers on a 3-game losing streak. They're going to be a little bit motivated in this game on the road in New York. Knicks had a jolt of energy, finally beating Orlando, which they lost to 3 previous times, and finally avoided the sweep against Orlando, and they came up big with Jalen Brunson coming back. But here, this is the second game with Jalen Brunson back from injury, and I'm liking the 76ers to cover this spread at 5.5. I thought this number was going to be around that 7 range, but they're giving they're giving 76ers some respect here. Give me that 5.5 for the 76ers. Could the upset happen? It could. It surely could here between these two teams. Maybe it could be a hot game for Buddy Hield or Tobias Harris or Kyle Lowry. We'll see. But the over 211 is pretty solid there, with one game being at 220 and the other game being at 206. I would lean towards the under. But my favorite play here, give me the points of the 76ers plus 5.5. Next up, we have the Memphis Grizzlies, who are 22-42, going up against the OKC Thunder, who are 44-19. Looking at the line, Jesus, minus 1,200 on the money line for Thunder. Obviously, you won't be taking that. I know some degenerates are just throwing that in the parlay pieces. I mean, to each his own, but that's really just a waste, and it really doesn't add much. Memphis Grizzlies on the other side at plus 725. So if you're avoiding that money line, you need to find some value, all right? So point spread is at a 15.5 on both sides, with the total at 220.5, all right? Looking at the public bet percentage here, we don't have information yet on the bets and the money. I can only imagine that it's pretty heavily on the Thunder side. Looking at the point spread, 58% of bets, 58% of the money on the side of Memphis to cover 15.5 points, with the total being 77% of bets and money going towards the over 220.5. All right, looking at the injury news right here, main focus here is Luke Kennard. He's going to be out of this game. Let me calm it down. Luke Kennard is going to be questionable. Kennard's going to be questionable, and G.G. Jackson's going to be questionable. Both have left knee soreness. So wait on news on those two guys. The Thunder are a pretty healthy team on the other side of the ball. Looking at the previous matchups between these two teams, it only happened once in December, where OKC won handily, 116-97. That total was 213 points in that particular game. And now you're getting a second matchup here between these two teams. Memphis, obviously a team that struggles because, hey, they're missing a lot of their guys. Their main key factor here is going to be Jaren Jackson Jr. He's the X factor there that could really creep up and make this thing close if they want to cover that spread of 15.5 points. Obviously, I feel confident in the Thunder winning this game. The question is the point spread. All right, for against the spread numbers, the Memphis Grizzlies are 19-13 away against the spread, and they're 26-21 as dogs against the spread. So both over 500 here, but the Thunder are just as good against the spread. 21-9 at home against the spread, and 28-18 as favorites. All right, so strong numbers on both sides against the spread. So I would lean towards taking that first quarter money line, taking the first quarter spread. Take that. Take the first half spread. Take that as well for the Thunder. It could be, I don't want you guys to come in that fourth quarter, Thunder up big, they're sitting a lot of guys, and then Grizzlies are still fighting, and they backdoor cover. All right, so give me what I gave you in previous matchups. First half in full game money line, you're going to get a better number at that. And take a look at the spread at first quarter and first half. Those are going to be the leans right there. If we're going with the over and under, give me the over 220.5 points, okay, in this game between the Thunder and the Grizzlies. Last but not least, on Sunday, we have a premier matchup here. Minnesota Timberwolves 44-20 going against the LA Lakers, who are 35-30. must-win scenario here for the LA Lakers to stay in the play-in or have an opportunity to move up in the playoff positioning. All right, looking at the odds, Lakers, you can get them on the money line at -125. Looking at the Timberwolves, you can get them on the money line at +105, with the point spread being at a 1.5 on both sides. This is a pick'em game, okay, yet again. All right, next is the total points. You have 222.5 for the total points here. So that's a very solid number looking at the previous matchups between these two teams. Public bet percentage. All right, you have 56% of the bets on the Lakers, 59% of the money on the Lakers here. For the point spread, 79% of the bets towards the Lakers to cover the spread, and 86% of the money on the Lakers to cover the spread. Total right now, both sides, bets and money towards the over heavily, 222.5. All right. Looking at the injury news, all right, Anthony Edwards is the main injury here for the Timberwolves. He is currently questionable. It's going to be a lot of Q-tags here in this game. Karl-Anthony Towns is out for the rest of the season. And for the Lakers, AD and LeBron are Q-tags right now. They're most likely going to play, all right? They just have that same Q-tag each and every game. It only depends if it could be close if they're having a back-to-back type of situation. All right, looking at the two previous games between the Lakers and the Timberwolves, both of the games went towards Minnesota. In Minnesota, this game is in LA. All right, that's the difference there. The first total was 229 points, and the second total was 214 points. Okay, now going back to the odds, we're going to be going with the LA Lakers. Make sure LeBron's in the game, AD's in the game. We're going to be going to, matter of fact, it don't even matter. The way the Lakers are playing without LeBron, but obviously we're going to be even more heavily on the Lakers if both of those guys are in. So I like the money line for the Lakers. Obviously I would take the spread. It's only a 1.5 and the total points at 220.5. That's very close there. I would lean towards the over in this particular game, depending on if Anthony Edwards is going to be in or out. If Anthony Edwards is going to be in, give me the over. If he's out, give me the under. All right. That will do it for the Sunday slate. Let me know in the comment section down below. What do you like? What is your favorite play? You don't got to always go with mine. This is my opinion, but I want to hear from you guys in that comment section down below. I want to get in touch with you guys. We can definitely brainstorm some plays. Hop in that comment section down below. I appreciate you guys so much. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and I'll be back with another video very soon. All right. Peace out.